In this video I'll be proving this result, that is the moving average process is always covariance stationary. So this result, if you want to prove this result, so it has been already explained in the previous video how to derive ACF and the autocovariance function of MAQ process, right? So this result can be proved using that derivation. So before we start, so what is the definition of covariant stationary time series? So we have three conditions to show, that is expectation of xt must be a constant, expectation of xt must be a constant independent of t, independent of t, and variance of xt must be finite, variance of xt must be a finite quantity, and the third one is, so this is the first one, this is the second one, and third one is the covariance between xt and xt plus h must depend on h only. So this must be independent of t. So I need to prove these three conditions to show that the MAQ, the moving average process, is covariance stationary. So you already know these three things, right? So what is the MAQ process? To how to start the proof? So proof always start with the defining white noise process. That is nothing but God. First we think of a God, right? So let epsilon t, t belonging to I, be a white noise process, white noise process with zero mean, right? The mean of the process is 0, with mean 0 and variance sigma square. And what is the next step? Let xt, t belonging to I, be a time series process, such that, so it should follow the moving average process, right? So we need to show that the moving average process is covariant stationary. So let xt follow the MAQ process. Then what is the representation? Xt is equal to epsilon t plus alpha 1 epsilon t minus 1 plus alpha 2 epsilon t minus 2, so on up to the last term is alpha q epsilon t minus q, right? In terms of summation, it is xt is equal to summation I is equal to 0 to q alpha I epsilon t minus I, where alpha naught is 1. So what is the first thing I should do? I should show expectation of xt is a constant. So this you already know. This you already know from the previous class. So how to find out expectation of xt? So this is the first one I'm doing. Expectation of xt is expectation of I is equal to 0 to q alpha I epsilon t minus I, that is nothing but 0. It's already explained. So which is a constant, right? 0 is a constant independent of t. Constant independent of t. So the first condition here is proved. The second one, what is the variance? Variance of xt is equal to, it is variance of summation I is equal to 0 to q alpha I epsilon t minus I. So I can take variance inside. When alpha I comes outside, it will become a squared term, right? So that is I is equal to 0 to q alpha I square variance of epsilon t minus I. So what is variance of epsilon term? It is nothing but sigma square. So this everything was explained in the previous class, right? So it is sigma square. So which is a finite quantity, right? So which is finite. Why it is finite? Because this is a sum of finite terms. Alpha naught, alpha 1, alpha q are finite. Sigma square is finite. So this is the finite term. So this one you take it as 1. This one you take it as 2. So what is the third one? We need to show from the definition of covariance stationary. We need to show that covariance of xt and xt plus h depends only on h, but it does not depend on t. So to show that it is a lengthy derivation, it was explained in the previous video, right? So it is there in the previous video. You should derive this. So if I start deriving, it will be one more lengthy video. So since you already know from the previous video how to derive this, I'm just going to write the expression. So if you remember, it is sigma square I is equal to 0 to q minus h alpha I plus h if h is less than or equal to q, and 0 if h is greater than q. So what is the observation? Covariance between xt and xt plus h depends only on h, right? So is there any t terms in this? No, there are no t terms in this. So which is independent of t, which is independent of t and depends only on h, right? On h only. So this is 3. So in the exam, if you are asked this question to show that the MAQ process is always covariance stationary, so you can't just write the expression for this, you need to derive this. So if you are asked this question for 8 or 10 marks, you need to derive this. So how to derive this? It is in previous video, right? So from 1, 2 and 3, from 1, 2 and 3, so what you can conclude? MAQ process is covariance stationary, right? Covariance stationary. So this is a very important result. So it is based on the previous video. If you know how to derive this one, covariance between xt and xt plus h, you can write this result. A small note on the ACF of MAQ process. So the ACF of MAQ process. So what is the formula for ACF? What is the expression? Rho h is equal to I is equal to 0 to q minus h alpha I plus h divided by summation I is equal to 0 to q alpha I square if h is less than or equal to q, right? 0 if h is greater than q. So in the previous class I had told you about identifying the importance of identifying the MAQ process. That is, given the data, so data is given, so how can you say that it follows MAQ process? So how you can answer this question, whether it follows MAQ process or not? So that can be checked using the properties, right? So we know some of the properties like mean, variance and ACF of the MAQ process. So based on the ACF, so how you can say that the data follows, whether it follows MAQ process or not? So what is the observation from here? Whenever h is less than or equal to q, what is the observation? Whenever h is less than or equal to q, rho h is some non-zero value, right? Rho h is non-zero. Whenever h is greater than q, rho h will be 0, right? So whenever h is less than or equal to q, rho h is non-zero. So if you remember from the previous class, rho h is non-zero means what? The sample autocorrelation is significant, right? Rho h is non-zero for what? First q, rho h will be non-zero. That means first q RH will be significant. That is, first q spikes will be outside the boundary, right? So this is from the previous class, outside the boundaries. So whenever h is greater than q, what happens? Rho h will be 0. That is, RH will be insignificant. That means all the spikes will be within the boundaries. So I can give you one example to better understand this concept. Suppose xt follows MAQ process. Suppose you have a data which follows MAQ process where q is equal to 3, if you say. So that is the moving average process. The data follows moving average process of order 3. So if I write this notation, the same as saying it is a moving average process of order. Q is called the order of the process of order of order 3. Now what happens whenever h is less than or equal to 3, the ACF is non-zero, right? So whenever h is greater than 3, the ACF will be 0. So what is the expectation from the ACF plot? First 3 sample autocorrelations will be significant. That means first 3 spikes should be outside the boundary, right? So do you all remember what is the plot of ACF, how to plot it? There is a x-axis with the lags and there is a y-axis with autocorrelations, and if you remember properly, there are two boundaries, right? So there are two boundary lines. What is the one more thing? So there is one thing always known, that is autocorrelation at lag 0 will always be 1. So this is the initial ACF plot. Suppose the data follows the moving average process of order 3, then so what is the observation? First 3 theoretical ACF will be not 0, that is first 3 sample ACF RH will be significant, that is first 3 spikes will be outside the boundaries. So I am going to mark the lags, first lag, second lag, third lag, and so on. So these 3, except this one, the first 3 will be outside the boundary, rest everything will be within the boundaries. So if you have the ACF like this, so then the data may be from, you can infer that the data may be from MA3 process. May be from, then the data may be from MA3 process. Suppose the data is from MA2 process, then what is the expectation? Except this first line, the remaining 2 lines should be outside the boundaries. So this is the importance of autocorrelation function, because using the autocorrelation function we can always identify whether the data is from MAQ process.